Hey, thanks for joining me. We're moving through season 4, Why Be Catholic? And we're answering the question in this video, why we believe in Jesus. Here's the short answer to that question. Because his divinity is the best explanation for the evidence. Now, what we believe about Jesus is what we say in the creed, that he's the Son of God, that he is a divine person. Why do we believe that? Why do we believe that? Remember, Jesus asks Peter, who do people say that I am, right? Peter gives the right answer, by the way. You're the Christ, the Son of the living God. If you didn't know, by the way, if you're just getting into this series now, this season, a lot of this is based on Trent Horn's marvelous book, Why We're Catholic. Chapter 6 on Jesus is a great place to look for more information on this. But what I want to get at, the way I want to get at this question, why you believe in Jesus, is the great argument from C.S. Lewis. The 3 L's, Lord, lunatic, and liar. Those are the 3 options that C.S. Lewis sees available. Is he Lord? That is he God? Is he a divine person? Is he the sovereign Lord of all things? Is he the one true God in human flesh? Well, he sure acts like that. He acts in the person of God. He forgives sins. He says he's greater than the temple, which is where God dwelt. He invokes a higher authority than the law of God, the Torah. If he knew that he wasn't God, and he said and acted like he was, that would make him a liar, right? And a liar is a bad man. If he wasn't who he said he was, and he thought he was, that would make him a lunatic, right? He's the crazy guy in the street who's saying that I'm God, I'm the Lord, but he's not. So they'd be a lunatic. The reason we believe that Jesus is the Lord is because, you might say, from just a rational standpoint, it's the best explanation for the evidence that we have. Now, let's take a look at some of that evidence. The New Testament is the New Testament that gives this evidence, this testimony about who Jesus is. Well, is it even a reliable historical document? And as far as ancient documents go, it's really, really reliable. It's off the charts reliable. Now, we don't have like the original documents. They're called the autographs. But we don't have the autographs of really any ancient documents in that sense. But we do have like partial copies. They're called fragments of the New Testament. And then we have full copies of the New Testament from about 300 years after they were written. 2 things to note here. Number 1, the agreement, which is how scholars base reliability, like how reliable is this document, is based on how the fragments agree. And it's like upper 90%, 98, 99%. That's crazy high for ancient documents. Like the copying of the documents was very, very reliable, very accurate. Also, 300 years after, for ancient documents, that's not that long. So like Homer's Iliad, the most recent copy we have complete was 1,800 years after he wrote the original. 1,800 years. So we don't have any full copies since in that time. But 300 years after the originals are written, which and the fragments agree with each other, we have a full copy 300 years later. In objection, I think people will get, it's like another L or IL to Lord, lunatic, and liar, which is illusion. That the claim that Jesus even existed, or the claims about these miracles and these things that point to his divinity, that's just an illusion. He didn't even exist, or these things didn't even really happen. We do have evidence that he existed from people like Josephus, the first century Jewish writer, other early century writers, and of course the Gospels themselves. And I just pointed out their reliability. Another objection people will say is that the illusion of the documents, or that these are later things that people wrote to kind of say, remember that guy Jesus that died? He was God, right? So it's a later claim. So it's an illusion woven later. That this man Jesus, this human person, sort of becomes a literary character that is written back into the script that, he's God. Now, first, look at the early documents in the reliable historical witness in the New Testament. So Paul himself, in the letter to the Colossians, says Jesus is the image of the invisible God. The point is, he thought that, wrote that, and he wrote it very, very early. It's not a fabrication of a later copyist or a community. Paul says, and this is mid-1st century, that in Jesus, the fullness of deity dwells bodily. That's Colossians chapter 2, verses 8 to 9. And then, secondly, after Paul, the Gospels, the four Gospels, including what we call the synoptic Gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, not just the Gospel of John, again and again and again, give witness that Jesus is divine. This is the basic claim. This is like the grab you by the lapel and shake you and say, he's raising people from the dead, he has power over nature, he's forgiving sins, and he's claiming authority greater than the Jewish law given to Moses. The last, I think, piece, response to that objection is this. Christianity was a Jewish movement. Now you think, well, what does that have to do with anything? Jews were monotheists. They were theologically allergic to worshiping creatures. So it's not like they're Roman pagans or Greek pagans that are just like, oh, hey, we got another god. Yeah, throw him on the list. We're going to worship him. No, it's like forbidden for Jews to worship any creature. So the fact that Christianity was a Jewish messianic movement, and they're saying this guy's not only the Messiah, he's God, he's divine, is evidence that the signs and wonders that Jesus himself did gave testimony to the Jews to say, you're the Lord, you're Adonai, like you're the Lord. They wouldn't have believed it otherwise. They would need unbelievably compelling evidence. And of course, most compelling evidence, he walked out of his own grave, which vindicated the claim that he was the Son of God. That's why we believe in Jesus.